We got all these jam legs because we're going to make some window frames. Willie has already gone through the process of getting them set with a nice parting bead slot. He's got the first rabbit. Is this rabbit or a groove? I can't remember. If this is probably a groove, right? He's got the groove up here. He's got his pulley holes already set, ready to go. Those are real nice. So he's all painted. We can fit those guys in there. These nice press fit pulleys. But now what we need to know is where along this board we put the sill, right? And the sill is that element that comes down right here that slopes to the what would be the outside of the building. You know, where in this area does that go? Well, it doesn't just magically appear. You actually have to put it there in the right spot. And I've been talking with Willie about how to figure out where that goes, okay? And so one way to do it, and I've done this so many times in the past, is you take your sashes and you set them there, like, oh, here's where it goes, right there, okay? And you make your mark and life is good. And then you cut your dado with the, the machine back here, and but what if you don't have your sashes yet? We don't have our sashes yet today. So we're going to do some math, all right? Now, here's the formula, all right? I'm going to write it down right here, okay? The formula is glass times 2 plus 5 7/8, okay? Now, where did I get that from, okay? Glass times 2 plus 5 7/8, okay? Well, you can have two pieces of glass, top sash and your bottom sash, right? Top sash glass, bottom sash glass, okay? And that glass is going to be encased in wood, and that wood has a particular size. And if you know that size, then you can extrapolate where that sash is going to fit on this board. So that's where we start, right? So the first thing we have is we have a piece of wood that represents what would be our top rail here. And this is just a typical cross section here. And it's going to go, I'm going to measure here 2 inches. Overall, it's 2 1/4, but I'm going to go with that 2 right there, okay? And what that is, so I'm going to put this on the board where she fits, right? Okay? Boom. That's where she goes. And I mean, I could do the Tracy thing, not Tracy as in a person, but I'm going to Tracy around the profile, okay? So it's 2 inches to here, okay? So that's the first thing I'll have. So I've got 2 inches, okay, plus 24. Okay, and that's going to get me a little bit further down the line. So 2 inches plus 24 is, gosh, what is that? Is that 26? Okay. 26, okay? And what that represents is that's where the bottom of my glass stops. I happen to know that my glass is 24, okay? So that's where my glass terminates. So from here to there, it should be 24 inches. And I'm just going to check to make sure 24 plus 2 is still 26. And yes, it is. So there's my 2 right there, my 24. Okay. So look, now I've got this meeting rail cross section. This is for my top sash. Okay. I'm going to put it in position, right? That's about where that would go. So you can see that my glass would fit in that area right there. See that? Okay. So now I need to know what the space is from this corner to here. And that is 1 1/8, right? So I'm starting at the 3. I've got 1 1/8. And overall the piece is 1 3/8, okay? But I'm going to go with this space right here because I'm trying to find the bottom of the top sash, okay? So my formula now is, it's 2 plus 24 plus 1 1/8, okay? That equals the bottom of my top sash, See that? Okay. So let me just get out my old calculator here. Okay. So I'm going to go 2 plus 24 plus 1.125, which is 1 1/8, equals 27 1/8. So I should have, I'm going to pull 27 1/8 right here, okay, from that spot there. Boom. And I'll take my speed square here. Boom. And I'll measure up, right? Or I'll transfer my mark to the other side, because what that line on the other side of this parting bead groove represents is the meeting rail for the top or for the bottom sash, okay? So that goes right here, like that, okay? So, and that is also 1 3/8. So starting at the 5, you see it's 1 3/8, okay? But I've also got this groove here, okay? And that's a 1/4 inch. That's where my glass goes, okay? So I'm going to back off of this line here, what, a 1/4 inch or so? And I'm going to start, that's where my glass is going to go on down the line. Or, you know, what I can do, okay, is I can subtract, what, 0.25 from this line here. So I'm going to subtract minus 0.25 equals there. And I've got 26 and 7/8, okay? 0.875, that's 7/8. So I'm going to go, I'm going to double check my mark there. Oh look, 26 and 7/8, right on the money. And that is where my glass for the bottom sash goes, okay? So I'll put so I'll add back in what the glass is supposed to be for my bottom sash. Okay, that's going to be plus 24, right? So that's going to give me 50 and 7/8, okay? So that's 50 and 7/8 from the very top where I started. Got to keep track of all that, okay? So down here, 50 and 7/8, okay? That is where the glass stops and where my section for my bottom rail starts, okay? That's going to go right here. So that is, now this section is 3 inches. Boom, see? That's 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 inches to my calculator, plus 3 equals 53 and 7/8. See? Look at that. So that's going to be, that should be that point right there, pretty close to it. Okay? So 53 and 7/8. Oh, right on the money. Okay? So what that means, okay, what this mark is, okay, this is the bottom of my bottom sash, and this is as tall as my jam leg can be, right? Well, I mean, it's a little bit longer to, you know, to nail it on, but that's the lowest point that my sash can terminate, okay? Now that's going to be what I would call my intersection point, okay? Because I have to intersect that point at 10 degrees because my sill has to slope, all right? So let's hit my speed square out, put it at 10 degrees. I'm going to come and put it right on my mark here. There you go. All right. Boom. There it is. Okay. And on this side of my line, that's where my dado goes. Okay. And if I've got a 3/4 inch board, and that's going to go there. Okay. And I'm just going to do a 10 degrees again. And I usually don't need to know this here. Okay. So But this here, okay, this becomes the line, the point at which I will begin my cross-cut dado groove there to make the seat for my windowsill. That's what that is right there. And that's what I'll make, you know, with that saw right there, okay? So the formula, therefore, to find, you need to find this spot right here, okay? You need to find that spot where the bottom sash terminates, and if you can find that, then you can find out your other lengths, okay? Because this length right there, or this spot, is pretty set in stone, okay, or set in wood actually, but it doesn't move. I mean, that mark is the same regardless of what angle your sill is going to be on. You see that? And you know, your sill is 12 degrees, you know, your end point here will be a little bit longer. If it's 7 degrees, it'll be a little bit shorter, but this measurement stays the same. So what that is it's glass times 2 plus 5 7/8. Okay, glass times 2 plus 5 7/8. How do I come up with that? Just real quick review. Okay, I've got my bottom sash there. Okay, that's 3. Okay, I've got my meeting rail assembly here. Okay, that is an inch, or not an inch, that is 7/8, and I'll show you why, right? Because there's a little bit of meat here. The glass goes to that spot right there, that's a 1/4 inch. And the glass goes to that spot right there, and in between, right there, that is 7/8 of an inch, okay? So I've got my 3 at the bottom sash, I've got 7/8 of an inch here, okay? And then up at the top, I have my 2 inches, okay? So I've got my 2 plus 7/8, 2 7/8 plus 3, that equals 5 7/8, right? Plus my glass size, which is 24, plus 24. That's my formula. That's how I know how long to make my jam leg, okay? And it works pretty good. And so what happens is, if you know this, if you know this formula, and you have like an old opening at your house that's missing the sashes, you can take the same idea and extrapolate how tall your sashes are going to be, right? Because you know that you have the givens of your of the width of your top sash, the width of your meeting rails, and the width of your bottom rail. If you have those, then you've got an area of glass in between that you can then divide by 2, okay? And that will give you your glass size, and therefore your sash size. That will tell you what it's going to be. So that's a pretty cool little fundamental lesson in window craft and sash making and stuff like that. So not sash making, but actually making frames. Gosh, what else is there, Willie? I guess that's pretty clear. You know, maybe if you've got any other questions about it, maybe something I didn't cover with that doesn't make any sense, go ahead and feel free to ask me, in the comments below and stuff like that, and I'll be glad to answer. So, but thanks for watching. Love you guys. Hope you learned a lot, and we'll see you next time. Bye.